And you can kind of see, that it does look like there might be a tiny stitch point there and there. And if you go into Stitches View, and with it selected, if you click on Points Editing Mode, you don't have to draw a box around it, but they're all selected, all the white or the off-white ones. So you do have to click outside. But then if you notice, uh, there's 3 points here, which is the one that goes down to there, and is this really a tie-off? So um, you can just like click on one of them, and I'm at 5916. So, and if you recall, let me just select the item again. It started at 57.97, this whole beige object, or this beige item, the one with the leaves that are all attached. So anyways, we're kind of in the vicinity. So you hit on points editing mode. You can click outside and then click one of them. You can try to hold down shift and then hit tab to go backwards. So shift tab. I'm holding down my shift button and just hitting tab. I mean, that did look like a tie-up, so now I'm holding shift and I'm hitting tab again. Now it looks like it's doing like a triple bean. That's basically what this design is a triple bean. So I'm going backwards. So I'll just go forwards now, tab, tab. That's what a triple bean does. Forward, back. Okay. Now it looks like we're doing a tie-off. But that wasn't really much of a tie-off, but it was part of that triple bean. Now let's see down here if it ties on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it did look like it's tying on. So it probably was tying off. So this here was supposed to be a dotted line. It's supposed to be a jump. And, my machine will trim jumps if I let it. But the way this design is registering, there's no jump. This line is just part of this whole red highlighted, there's no jump. So my machine is going to just, it'll tie off like it looks like it tied off, and it'll tie on, but after it ties off, it's just going to drag the thread and then come over here and tie on. Now, a lot of people like that because with something this thin, they don't want it to start a tie on and possibly have a bird's nest because their thread came out of the needle. This is such a thin triple bean design, So it's probably fine. And I'm sure from here to here is probably the same thing. But if you want to make sure, you can just turn this into a jump, and then you'll know it's a jump. You could add tie-offs and tie-ons if you want. You might add too much bulk, but if you want your machine to actually trim it, if you trust your machine to make a good tie-on and you do want it to trim it and your machine can trim jumps, then you will want to give this a jump code. Now, our Genomes and Brothers don't read trim codes, but they'll read a jump. The multi-needle ones will. The single needle ones won't. They'll only read a color change. if you wanted to trim. So we'll go ahead and turn them into a jump just for the heck of it. I probably wouldn't let my machine trim this jump anyways. In fact, I have my machine to never trim jumps just because, you know, I do a lot of working with leather and I like to trim them myself, and I just don't. It's hard on the machine and so on. But just for the sake of this exercise, I'll turn these into jumps. So there's several ways you can do it. The easiest way is to separate this item as its own object and then do